Hello, Dr. Schaefer. This is my recording for my persuasive speech. And can you pan around the room real quick, Carrie? The cats poop. That's Cassie and Dalton.
And then I'm Carrie.
Alrighty, you ready, Cassie?
Yes.
Okay. Millions of people worldwide were distraught when their sports season came to an end this year because of the coronavirus. And while that may be an issue for a lot of people worldwide, another sport has been doing well worldwide and has actually not been halted at all by the coronavirus, and that sport is esports. Ever since esports rose to popularity in the early 2010s, there has been a worldwide debate as to whether or not esports should be considered a sport. And I personally believe that esports should be considered a sport, as I am a part of esports at Baker University, and I have been watching esports since 2014, and I have been a big fan of it since then. And what a lot of my opponents will say when arguing that esports is not a sport, they'll say that it's just an average competition and that it's not that big of a deal, it's not a sport, and a sport needs exercise to be considered a sport. So today I will be refuting those two very common arguments against why esports shouldn't be considered a sport. For the start of our argumentative online battle, I'll tell you why it's more than just a competition. Esports is more than just a competition because there's a lot that goes into it. People who are part of esports practice daily, and some professional players even practice 10 to 12 hours a day for esports, and that is according to Eric Johnson in 2015. And the common argument that esports is a competition started when John Skipper, the ESPN president, said in 2014 that esports is just a competition. Well, a year later, he actually decided that it really wasn't that big of a competition, that it's probably more of a sport, because it was on ESPN when they aired the Dota 2 finals in 2015. And that is also from Eric Johnson in 2015. Competition is only an element of any sport. Competition happens when you have either opposing team just fighting against each other in whatever sport, whether it be football, esports, basketball, whatever. And it's only a small part of what a sport actually is, because there's a lot of practice that goes into it. And your average competitions won't get as much views as esports does. Esports actually gets more worldwide viewers than some other sports. Christopher Ingraham reported in 2018 that the League of Legends Championship Tournament in 2017 had 106.2 million viewers, while the Wimbledon finals for tennis had 9.44 million. The difference between those is staggering. And next, we will gank the opposing team with arguments on why a sport doesn't need a physical activity. This is one of the most common arguments for people who think that esports is not a sport, and that is according to Eric Johnson in 2015. Pros also have to keep in shape when competing in esports, and the reason being for that is because they need to keep their mind sharp, and having your body in shape keeps your mind a lot healthier. And that is from Christopher Ingram in 2018. This also contains all of the other aspects of what traditional sports have. You have your pro players or your athletes who are competing and practicing. They also are a part of different teams, so there's for example, TSM is a League of Legends team, and they are a part of many different video games, and they are most known for League of Legends, but they have different coaches for each of these sports or video games, and they all practice and work together and work as a team to make sure that they will have success when they are competing on whether it be Twitch or ESPN or whatever. They have to keep in touch with whatever is changing in the video game, and they have to keep active on how much they are playing and practicing this video game. And that is compared to like something like football, where you have different teams, like for example the Kansas City Chiefs, where they have their head coaches and they have sub coaches as well. Same for TSM. And then of course they have their players. They have their players who are more often than not on the bench. Same with teams like TSM. And this is the similarities between these two is astronomical. And the fact that this does not include physical activity does not make it enough to be not considered a sport. And that is from Eric Johnson in 2018. To finish off with the victory of esports being a sport, I will be talking about what I have already said, which is that it doesn't need to have physical activity to be a sport, and it is more than just a competition. Courtney New in 2017 reported that visas were not being granted to esports players in the United States if they wanted to travel to the United States to play in whatever video game. And this is a problem. This is why I'm talking to you about this today. It's because since esports players are not considered athletes, they don't get visas to come into the United States to play. And this is a problem for many different people because, and our economy, because we could easily boost the economy with the amount of money that goes into esports, and how worldwide competitions are also being taken to other places, since visas for players are harder to get in the United States. So next time you want to watch your sport, whatever sport you've been watching or have been watching for many years, and it's not on because of the coronavirus, you can always check out the website twitch.tv to see what competitions for esports are being aired and check out a whole new sport with a whole entirely different world. Thank you for watching.